Call to order the July 23rd, 2019 council meeting for the Borough of Maywood to order at 7:36 p.m.
Okay, for tonight's invocation, we have our house clergy, Reverend Dr. Bessie Duncan from the Unity Church of Christ. Would everyone please rise?
It is such a delight this evening to call on the Lord with all these wonderful youngsters in here talking about what we do in our town, because that's what's good about Maywood. That's what the Lord blesses us with. People from the young to the old, seeing how to run our town beautifully. Look at our board, our council in the summer, right here, working with us. Their families, Lord, we have in prayer. We have in prayer all those who do all the background work that helps to get this going and looking so good. We thank all of our associations, our firemen, our police, our Foreign Legion, all of our associates, all of those who are working in Maywood. Lord, you keep each one healthy, keep each one strong, keep each one committed. And in our minds, keep giving us the wisdom. In our hearts, give us the love. And in our strength, help us move forward, following you in everything that we do, because the light of God is surrounding us, the love of God is enfolding us, the power of God is protecting us, and the presence of God is watching over us. In everything that we do, God is, and all is well. Amen.
Amen.
If I could ask the members of the American Legion and the members of Troop 5880 to please come on up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
You can move down a little. Yeah.
Take it away, John.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you for your service.
Whereas on January 3rd, 2019, adequate notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act has been furnished by inclusion thereof in the annual schedule of meetings for 2019, which has been posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk, faxed to our town, the Record, and the Community News newspaper, and distributed to all persons, if any, requesting copies of same pursuant to said act. In case of an emergency or fire alarm, you must evacuate the building by using any of the exit doors in the room. They are immediately to my right and the double doors to the rear of the room. Occupants must exit the building by using the staircase and not the elevator. This meeting is being recorded by both video and audio and may be rebroadcasted.
Roll call.
On roll call, Mayor Fabray.
Here.
Council members Bennett.
Present.
Boland.
Here.
Ullman is absent. Gervino.
Here.
Lindenau.
Present.
Garofalo is absent. Borough Attorney Brian Ironman.
Here.
Borough Administrator Roberta Stone.
Here.
Borough Clerk Barbara DeSoto here. We have a quorum.
Any items on the agenda? Any work session items? Okay, proclamations. We have a presentation to the Maywood American Legion Post 142 in recognition of the 100th anniversary of the American Legion. And I'll read that. Very small print. It reads, whereas on March 15, 1919, the American Legion was founded in Paris, France, by United States World War I military personnel, members of the American Expeditionary Force who convened for the first caucus. And whereas a new organization named the American Legion eventually developed from this historic meeting, whose founders, led by Lieutenant Colonel Theodore Roosevelt Jr., were dedicated to 4 pillars of care for veterans: a strong national defense, Americanism, and children and youth. And whereas today the American Legion is the world's largest veterans organization with over 2 million members worldwide and over 4,000 members belonging to 41 posts in Bergen County. And whereas the Bergen County American Legion organization recognizes 23 centennial posts that are celebrating their 100 years of service this year, having all been chartered in 1919. And whereas those posts are situated in the following municipalities: Pagoda, Carlsbad, Cliffside Park, Gloucester, East Rutherford, Inglewood, Fort Lee, Garfield, Hackensack, Haslemere, Hillsdale, Leonia, Lodi, Lyndhurst, Maywood, Oradell, Park Ridge, Ridgefield, Ridgefield Park, Ridgewood, Rutherford, Teaneck, and Woodridge. And whereas the Bergen County American Legion Centennial Committee's mission is to bring recognition to the 23 American Legion posts in Bergen County that were chartered in 1919, and to that end will hold a Centennial Gala on Sunday, September 29, 2019 at the Elan Catering and Events in Lodi, New Jersey. And now therefore be it resolved that the elected representatives and citizens of the Borough of Maywood are pleased to recognize the Bergen County American Legion for their posts' collective myriad of contributions to the good and welfare of veterans, service members, and the communities they serve, and wish its members every success in continuing the legacy of service into its next 100 years.
I want to thank the Borough of Maywood for recognizing the American Legion and their 100-year anniversary and giving us that proclamation today. Also, I want to thank the Post 142 for Maywood, also the town for supporting the American Legion and making us as strong as we are today. I thank you very much. Ray, do you have something you'd like to give me?
I'd like to give you a challenge coin. It depicts the American Legion, New Jersey and American Legion, Bergen County. And on the reverse side, there's all the posts. Somebody had ever reached 100 years. Thank you very much. Thank you.
May I come down for a picture?
Want to get a picture?
Yeah. Everybody.
Can we get the whole council? Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, tighten up a little bit.
Squish it in.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody good. Everybody needs it.
Thanks again.
And the commander and vice commander are away on business. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
it's 40 years since I've worn a uniform, but my recollection when you get a challenge point, if you're told to produce it in a bar and you don't have it, you have to buy the first round. So.
So that's well, now I'm going to put that pretty close to my keys when I'm driving. Whenever I go to bars, I'll have that with me. That's good to know. That is good to know. All right. We have presentation of the Mayor's Girl Scouts. 25880.
Girls, come on out.
The two girls. Roberta, do you want to say something?
I do. I'd like to bring up the girls from, some of the girls from Troop 5880. This is the first time that we've had a community project done by Girl Scouts. We've had a number of projects that have been done in the past by Boy Scouts when they become Eagle Scouts. This is the first time that we've had the Girl Scouts do something community-minded, to do something in the community. They wanted to do something at the dog park. So we were partners, and they helped us. They did a lot of fundraising and donated $600 for the doggy crawl that is now at the dog park, and along with that, 2 signs to remind people that they really should be picking up after their doggies in the doggy
Good
park.
job, girls.
And I must tell you, girls, the day that I went there with Gary Newman, the superintendent of the DPW, to tell him where we were going to put the signs, guess what we saw on the ground?
Did you find a coin, money?
Hopefully, they will now read those two signs that you were kind enough to contribute to the dog park, and we won't be stepping in anything when we go there. So who knows? We don't know yet. But we'd like you to come up and have a picture taken with the mayor and council, and we thank you very much. Saida has been instrumental. We were going back and forth quite a bit about what they were going to do, and I think it's really nice that these girls have earned their bronze award by a fundraising to put in the doggy crawl at the dog park. So ladies, come on up. And council, come down.
There's another great picture of it. I found out somebody shorted that.
You know what, maybe what we'll do is we'll have some of the girls stand in front of the
That's fine, 'cause I can see.
Yes.
I'm ready to
So we'll have the girls, the council coming back and you a little bit so that everybody can get in the picture. And as Reverend Duncan said, this is what Maywood is all about, and it's just with a lot of pride that we have these kids participating.
They're our future.
That's right.
They're our future.
Thank you so much. What we'll do is, wasn't helping us, but we'll do that another day. Maybe when the kids are all back, when we go to school, we'll take some pictures at the dog park too, so that you can have it. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, I hope you guys come up here for your silver, and I hope you guys are up here for your gold.
Absolutely.
Keep with it, guys. Please keep with it.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, we have Borough Engineer for our monthly engineer report. Fred, please come up.
Honorable Mayor and Council, we issued an engineer's report dated the 16th for tonight's meeting. I'll briefly go through each of the individual topics. The first is the Maywood Avenue Streetscape Project Phase 2. At this time, the pavers and concrete have been installed on the western side of Maywood Avenue. Based upon concrete delivery tickets, what's been poured in the field, there are questions as it relates to the product that the contractor has poured and what the concrete supplier has supplied. We're going to be holding a meeting on Monday with the contractor, and then at that point in time, concrete's going to be removed on that western side of the roadway, and the project will pick up so that we have a steady color of French gray across the entire streetscape. The next item on the list is the 2018 Road Improvement Program, and also the 2018 Road Improvement Program Phase 2. In both those projects, we've submitted closeout documents, which we understand are on the agenda for consideration by the governing body tonight. The next item on the list is the Palmer Avenue, Passaic Street Road crossing at the bus stop, and then also the Palmer Avenue Improvement Project. We received July 8th a review letter from DOT. There's no remedial action. We'll be processing closeout documents so that the borough can receive its remainder of its grant funding. The next item on the list is the Flood Damage Prevention Control Ordinance. I know there's documentation that Mr. Ironman's in preparing for the governing body to adopt. That needs to be processed and move forward so that the borough can remain within its flood insurance rate program. The next item on the list is a 2019-2020 DOT Municipal Aid Grant, which was a call for projects. Prior to July 19th, our office submitted a grant application to complete Palmer Avenue from Mendez to its terminus, and then also provide a push-button sign at the intersection of Passaic and Palmer, where the new bus stop was created, to warn vehicles as pedestrians are crossing in that area. The seventh item on the list is the 2019 Road Improvement Program. Project bid opening dates or project document availability dates include July 19th was when the documents were available, and then August 8th will be the bid opening. The construction will proceed shortly thereafter in the summer. And then the eighth item on the list is the Gulf Avenue DOT project from Romaine to East Passaic Street. Documents will be available August 9th, with the bid opening being September 5th. Construction's going to occur late summer, early fall. And then an item that's not listed within the report that is moving forward is on Spring Valley Avenue, where there's that dip in the roadway near the Edel Avenue, the entrance to the town center. Our office today submitted a solicitation to a variety of contractors to have that repaired. Responses are due back next Tuesday. We'll provide a recommendation letter to the administrator and the governing body for consideration to repair that area. That concludes our report. We'd be glad to address any questions or comments that the governing body had, though.
Is that the pressure part of the gas pipe upgrade?
It looks like it was related to a Suez water main upgrade or lateral upgrade as it relates to the construction of the town center and that outbuilding.
Is that something that might be covered by a bond?
We did reach out to Suez, and they haven't been too receptive as it relates to it. And I know Ms. Stern has reached out also to them.
That was the first thing that we did when we started this process about 8-9 months ago, trying to get Suez to come back. They have not, because too much time had gone by, there wasn't enough documentation. We still have a escrow account from the town center, and we've told them that we're going to be using that money to take care of that.
Did they have a response? Was there a response?
I'm sorry?
Was there a response?
About that?
Yeah.
No,
You told
because
them?
I told them that's what we're doing. That's the response. Told them I'd let them know how much it was going to be. We have $20,000. This shouldn't be anything near that. So I think we're covered.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Greg, if you wouldn't mind sticking around, please.
I'd be glad to.
All right, at this point, I'd like to open the meeting to the public. Is there anyone from the public wishing to be heard? Please come on up.
Hello, Mayor.
Name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, my name is Satyanarayan. I'm Patlola, and I live at 204 Prospect Avenue. Yeah. I have a grievance, and I wanted to mention about it. So I'm a new resident. I moved in last October to Maywood, and I must say that this is a wonderful town, and I have a wonderful neighbors. It couldn't be any better, but unfortunately, I started noticing some flood in my backyard, right? And it has been as it rains, it has been flooding more and more, and water takes days to go away. So I talked to my neighbors, and they informed me this started happening only because of after the construction that started next to my house at 210 Prospect Avenue. Before, it never flooded. Even during Sandy, none of my neighbors who are living there for past 30 years plus, they never noticed any flooding over there. Just because of this, because of the construction, I started, seeing flooding in my backyard, and I've noticed, the new construction, they've actually raised the level of the floor, and they've been doing that forever, and now the flooding is really worst, and we have noticed increased mosquito problem as well. So I've already documented everything and sent an email, certified mail, and the borough hasn't got back to us. They say that they cannot do anything, and I still have the copies, so I want to submit it to you, Mayor. Is it okay if I give it to you?
What are you between? What cross streets are you between?
Huh?
What are the cross streets that you're between?
Toma.
It's a dead end.
It's on Mill Street. It's on the Prospect Avenue.
Yeah, close to the
Toma is in back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hill Street.
Okay.
Stone Street.
Is it Stone?
No, listen, we have.
Well, I'm just trying to think.
All right,
Right behind.
Just trying to get an idea. The address will obviously be on that. Go ahead, let me see what you have.
Okay. I have few pictures of documented.
Maple?
No.
Yeah, man. Did you ever have, a buddy in your right? No, I never did either.
All right. Okay.
Never had a drop of water.
This is how it used to be, before the house was sold. Oh, this is just a property taken, when there was no construction. You can see that there actually the road is actually downwards. Now, the new construction actually based on the road and now it's kind of construction.
So you're basically saying they graded the house in a different way, the property in a different way?
Yeah.
That's your contention, that it was graded and it's causing...
And it's causing flooding, and also it also increased the mosquito problems and neighbors are used to
This is what your...
So this is before the house was sold. And you could see that whole area was beautiful, but now the flooding has, totally made my house.
Well, listen, I'm not contending one way or another, but these pictures in nice weather, as the other ones are in rain. But I understand what you're saying.
And this is the
It's hard to
floor that
compare
was
the
raised,
pictures.
again they raised the floor again.
Now, this is before or after?
This is the applicant.
Okay.
This is the floor was actually raised.
So that was never like that before? I'm gonna just, and then we'll pass it on that one. Okay, thank you.
I'd like to speak.
And also I like to, I actually complained to the borough and one of the, I don't know, the borough inspector came in. So, the borough, So I think I think his name was Jim or something, he was an elderly man. So he came in and he saw that, immediately said that, oh, this was like this all the time, right? Then I said like, no, my neighbors explained me this wasn't like this before, and that's the reason I've called you to explain you this. And he was like, no, this was like all time, and I asked him like, can you give it that in writing? This was like this all the time, and he got really agitated and very nasty tone, and he just walked away. And I was trying to show him the pictures, and he got, are you recording me? I'm going to throw your phone away. He was really nasty, he behaved very nasty, and he just walked away. This was really, and I wrote everything on the letter as well. So this is what I wasn't expecting from actually a public employer. I also work for New York City Department of Education. I wasn't expecting something rude from a public servant. So this was like really very bad experience.
I can't speak to that because I wasn't there, but if what you're saying, everything you're saying is 100% true, and I have no reason to doubt you,
Yeah.
and I apologize on behalf of the borough that you were treated that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't do anything right now without seeing this and
Yeah.
talking to the officials.
Yeah. I
I don't know what remedy there can be.
Yeah.
It seems like, at this point, just on first blush, it seems like the resident of the property owner of the other property is their issue, but we're going to have to do a little further inspecting on this.
Definitely, yeah. I have my neighbors who wants to talk as well.
Please, absolutely.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And again, I'm sorry.
Okay. Hi, my name is Dr. Godfrey Shelton. I'm his neighbor.
Doctor, if you just come on up and...
I live right next door. I've lived there for 30 years. And there was never any water in the yard next to us. Now there's a constant lake there. And the problem with the lake is that it breeds mosquitoes. I have a pool in my yard. They have a pool in their yard. I can no longer use my yard. It's horrible. I'm calling the town every week to have the area sprayed. Now, the other people that own the house before him when they first built the other houses and the pool started to form, the lake started to form, they complained to the town and they told them that's not right. And when you look at it, you can see when they first started building it, they raised the level of dirt much higher than his yard. So all the water is running off into his yard now, and it has no exit. That water was never like that, and the level of the land was much lower than it is now. That was only done after this construction.
Okay, the pictures, I don't know if you saw the pictures. It looks, at the fence, it looks like the grading is, it looks like it's higher, several inches. Was that always like that?
No, it's substantially higher. It only became higher when they built the houses there. And there was no water in that property before. Now, the people that owned this house before him, when that first occurred, they came over here and they made a complaint because they couldn't use their yard anymore, and the mosquitoes were killing them and killing us. And they sold the house because of that. They said, I'm not staying here. And someone told them that they weren't going to do anything. And they said, we're out of here. And they sold it to this gentleman. And at first when he came, it was dry there for a short while. Then when it rained, the lake formed, and the lake just stays there now.
It stays for a week.
It has created a hazard, and it's not healthy to have mosquitoes constantly in the constant standing pool of water like that. I can't use my backyard anymore. We have to make a big smoke back there and do something, I don't know.
We need to get the county to come in. Can we get the county to come in and spray that?
Absolutely. The county, the homeowner needs to call the county because they have to grant
that the house was still in the back.
All right, well,
The house.
I understand. Can we, let's coordinate that though, so then we can definitely get a,
The major difference is our houses are on Prospect Avenue, and these houses are in the back.
They built it all the way in
And
the
there were
back.
woods back there before, and behind the house is a stream. And the water used to just run off the properties and run to the back like that, and everything was level. But once they built that house, they raised the level of ground, and the lake started to
I think it's
form.
probably less, well, I'm not an expert, I would imagine it's less raising the level, but just the increase of impervious grounds, that's probably, I mean, if you're saying...
I'm not an engineer, but I can see that
Yeah.
the ground is much higher than his yard,
It's
so it
less-
can't run off.
It's less pervious ground.
Well, once the construction is there, the water from his buildings run off, and it can't run anywhere but into his yard.
Well, we have to do something, we have to figure what we can do with the mosquitoes. We have to get, we'll expedite. You're going to have to,
Well,
according to the clerk...
if we get all the numbers of the houses,
Please.
I can make a phone call. I
And
know that you
my
have...
other neighbors are here, too.
Okay.
I've been there for 30
Yeah.
years, and
I'm
that
here
probably
35
never
years.
existed before.
The most immediate thing that we can do is
35.
get the mosquitoes to come, get the county to come and spray the mosquitoes, at least that.
Okay.
Okay, and then,
I'm not at all.
I'm not 100% sure, but I would imagine, you know what I shouldn't say is, but if they were coming to my backyard, I would cover my pool while they sprayed.
Yeah, I have the covering off for the pool like that, but this situation is just intolerable. It's created a hazard, and I don't know how the town could allow them to do that. From the time they constructed the house and it first happened, we started complaining, and that was a while ago now, and nothing has been done, nothing. And at first, the gentleman said that he would do something about it, he would address it. And then when we talked to him later, he said, I never said that. So,
Sounds about right.
a different story. And my other neighbors
Please, come on.
say the same thing, and my wife. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Tom.
I'm Dr. Shelton Weiss. I spoke to the inspector the first time that he came, when the other people used to own the house before they sold it. When he came and spoke to me, he said...
I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to get an idea. The people that sold the house sold to you?
No,
Okay.
yes, he said...
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. Okay.
Okay. When he came, the house was, they were only digging. They had two big holes there, and they were digging to put cement in there. Where they built that, it's like he said, all the way in the back. All the houses are in the front. They built it at the bottom by the stream, okay? I called it to his attention because the water started to build up. When he came, he said, oh, they're going to put 3 pumps there. give me 3 months, okay? 3 months passed, I called him, and he gave me another excuse. He said he was coming, he never showed up, okay? Instead of coming to my house, or instead of coming to see where the water was at, he went to the guy who's building the house. It's 2 houses that he built there. He went and he spoke to him. He never came to speak to me. I called him. I was very, very upset when I spoke to him. And he said, well, that is being built by the code. The code is, is correct. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. That's what he said. Then he said, just give us a little bit more time. It's going to stop. This is from the beginning. It's been over a year now. Okay? And I have been taking pictures since then. I have pictures from before. For 30 years, I've been taking pictures of the children in the pool there, the hammocks that they have back there, everything they have back there. And the people were able to use the pool. We were able to use the pool. Last year, when I called Bergen County Mosquito Control, when they came, they were spraying every 3 days at my house. Okay? My pool on the top had a white film on the top, on the cover. That's how much they had to spray last year over that.
Well, last year was one of the worst mosquito years that we've had in a while. I'm not saying that was the reason, but we had the county come here several times.
Last year and this year is the only time, 30 years that I've been there. And now we can hardly go outside. We instead of staying here, we went on vacation. We left. We left. We just came back because of the meeting, because they were coming. We can't even use the pool.
Mayor, can I just ask a question?
Yeah, please.
So, the property behind you erected a house. Is that house completed?
No, it's not complete. They stopped working on it for months, and then they started working again a couple months ago.
And you said you put 3 pumps, correct?
Yeah, and they did. They brought the pumps. I'm telling you, they were like 10 feet tall. That's how big they were, and it's still not working.
Well, they were pumps or they were retention pumps?
It was 3 pumps. That's what the inspector told me. I don't know.
I'm not really aware of a pump that.
That's what he said.
Usually what happens is when you build a new house, you put some kind of retention to collect the water from the roof, to collect water on the property. If they're not done, that water doesn't have any place to go because it's not connected to it.
Okay.
So the reason that I was asking you whether they were still under construction is obviously that will have an impact on some of the water diversion devices. If they're not hooked up, they're doing nothing.
You know what he did?
But the other reason, and I just, if you don't mind just interrupting you, I would really like Jim to go take a look and report back to the council. And although the Uniform Construction Code deals with the building, the site itself is governed by
Zero
a
runoff.
variety of codes that we have, and I don't think I can discharge water onto an adjacent property. So
No.
I'd like to have some response on that.
But
Greg, I'm sorry, Greg, 1 second. Greg, this year we did the I'm throwing a blank, but I think it was this year that we did the ordinance requiring the retention pits for all new construction.
Correct.
So-
And in addition, if there's a water course there may be some regulations where the state would even be involved in this construction of the sound.
Jim, according to Jim, this is being done to
Well,
code.
yes, and I visited the site, and I did leave word. I don't know what happened, because I had the pictures in the letter, and I left word. But in fact, I don't know, I tried to ring one doorbell that day, nobody answered, because I went there with Jim on 3 different occasions. And I think part of the problem, because he showed me where the retention basins are, part of the problem is it's not finished. The rest of the property has not been graded properly. Once it's graded properly, and I'm not an authority on this, but it makes sense to me, right now, what they put in isn't working because the grading for that isn't finished. The driveway isn't finished, the land around it isn't finished. When it goes to grade, the water's going to go into those 2 retention basins. Right now, it can't go there because it's higher than the unfinished property. So that's one issue.
It's 2 years
Right.
now.
This is a
But I think,
I
unfortunately-
wasn't aware from the beginning of this conversation that the property is not done yet.
No. The houses are built,
Yes.
but the property isn't finished, and the property isn't to grade yet. So
Is there
if you
people- are
have
there
the
people living in-
retention
Is there
thing...
people living in these?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
This is the grate, all right? There are two big grates, one on either side that they had to put in for the water. It's here. The driveway isn't finished yet, it's down here.
Yeah.
So the water isn't getting into there yet because it hasn't been graded to those retention...
So the water is finding the lowest
It's going
point,
all over
and
the
it's not
place. I mean,
his yard as opposed to the...
right, exactly.
Do we have-
But,
It would really seem to me, though, and I'm kind of coming at this in all due relation, that we really, that the borough needs to be a lot more proactive. But this has been going on for, you said 2 years.
Yeah, close.
well, no.
Okay, I have a question,
You just moved
okay.
in last year, didn't you?
No, I've been there 30 years.
No, the new...
I'm the new one.
You're the
That's
new one.
The rest, they all
That's what I
are
meant. I'm sorry,
Other people complain to the town that own
well,
the house before they moved in.
that I'm not aware of. I'm only
Yeah,
aware of
they
this one
moved.
The
because...
person who really can guide us through it would be the building official, taking a
Right.
look and telling us.
Right, well, I think that's the next step, that he has to let
Okay.
you know what he did.
On the adjacent site.
Right.
Preventing the natural flow in the
That's-
drainage.
mhm.
You should be telling them to do something different.
And we were not
They
told.
told us nothing could be done.
Yeah, that
That's
was,
the problem.
the
That's why
inspector
we're here
told
today.
them, the inspector.
The gentleman that was the inspector said that nothing could be done. It's the first time I've heard the grade wasn't level and it had to be graded and all that. Nobody ever told
This
any
is
of
the first time we
us
hear that.
anything like that.
Well, I tried to call
When
the
we
homeowner.
asked and when we came to the town many times, nobody had any information
All right,
like that. That's the first time
I
we
agree,
hear
Rich.
that.
I think, let's have Jim come to the next meeting with a report, and I want to know what's going on. I want to know the status.
Right.
I want to know the status of, and quite frankly, I want Jim to call the developer and find out what his timetable is, because...
Well, that's one of the other
You could have
issues,
a-
but I don't think that I can mention that.
I
because
understand that.
It's a legal matter,
Okay.
so I can't.
Well,
I mean, it's their legal matter, not ours.
Okay, I don't know if
owner of
you're
the-
aware that the street used to get flooded before, right? You remember it used to
Yeah.
get flooded at the bottom just before Rochelle Park,
Yeah.
okay? Now, have you seen how it gets now? I sent, Mr. Faber, I sent you 2 emails. I don't know if you received the emails in reference to that, and in reference to the flood and pictures, okay? Now, have you seen how it gets now? Okay, if you go and you ask the people who live at the bottom of Prospect, and these people back here who live back there,
They've been here, and I mean, that's the one that Greg Pliniak and I, if you remember, that's the one that we did discuss, and
okay, and they live back there. Ask them how that is now.
you don't have to keep raising your hand. I know you're going to come up. I'm going to have you speak while we have somebody here.
all right, thank you.
We have all night, ma'am, don't worry.
Yeah, so you can ask them how that looks now, okay? I mean, I know that I found that I am very upset, but it's because also the inspector, I heard him when he told him that he was going to throw the phone from his face. But he had the nerve to tell me on the phone when I called to complain, he said, oh, you don't like it? You can move, okay? I told him, I've been here 30 years. My house is being paid for. I raised my children here, okay? And yes, I can move. We can move to, I have a house in Arizona, I have a house in Puerto Rico, okay? I can go anywhere I want to, but that's my house that I pay for. And also, somebody from the city told him that that was a private property. So what is my house? My house is not a private property? You understand what I'm saying? So at that...
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Both properties, they're private property. This is not borough property, but the borough can step in at the point because this isn't a finished property. Now, apparently this guy has to get he's going to get a CEO at some point. I mean, we're going to have to. I don't know what legal issues you're talking about. I don't want to talk about it on the record, but this has to get expedited. I want you to talk to this. And I want an answer. I mean, listen, even if they say, well, listen, we're in foreclosure, whatever the answer is, I want an answer so we can move from there.
I mean, in the beginning, I asked the town to come and see where the houses were being
Well, we've had
built.
the town, we've had...
I've
Herbert's
been there.
I don't know,
I walked
okay,
there.
and you didn't notice how how the properties were and where the house is
You
built?
can't own people's private property, somebody's...
No, I'm saying, but how awkward, because when I sent you the email, I asked for somebody to, how awkward it is, because all the houses are built in the front, and these two houses are built all the way in the back.
It was built, that's the
I
way that
mean,
they...
they
By
only,
the
it's
stream.
the shape of the property. He didn't have the frontage to build it in the front. If he had
There was
the
a house
frontage,
there before.
he would have been building it in the front. He did not have the frontage to build it in the front. So that's why they went, it's an odd-shaped lot, and that's why they built it where they did. I had nothing to do with that part of it.
We can't go back in time.
Yeah.
This is to build, apparently he's building to code, but he's apparently not building it, at least to my opinion, this isn't happening fast enough. 2 years is ridiculous.
It's close, yes.
Again, let's get some more people coming up that want to talk.
We just have to get a report from Jim and let him come and explain the circumstances to the whole
I wasn't
council.
there, so I don't know how the inspector dealt with anybody, but anybody they felt they were dealt rudely by the inspector, I apologize on his behalf. I do understand, though, that you're probably one of 50 people that he dealt with that day. I'm not making excuses for it, but not everybody's in the best of spirits when they're speaking with him, and this is on a daily basis. This happens to a lot of our employees that work here. They're the butt of people's anger. Not intentional, but people call up and they're angry. So you have a person who's dealing with that 50 times a day, 5 days a week. However many days a year he's here. So he might not be in the best of spirits. You might call him at a bad time. So I'm not making excuses. I'm just giving you what possibly could happen. But that being said, I apologize that if anybody was dealt with rudely by the inspector or anybody else from the borough, I apologize on their behalf. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Mayor, could I just ask,
Absolutely.
I would actually, with your permission, I'd like to meet you now. By the way, under the Uniform Construction Code, we're granted access to the property line. So we don't need to ask the developer's permission.
No.
So I think what she was thinking was come on their property.
Right, but I mean, we could go look for that property and see if we can go, we can look over the fence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go there.
Would you ask Jim to reach out to me and I'll make arrangements?
Okay,
We can go
tomorrow.
together.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, and then, obviously, with your expertise, and you're in the field, maybe you can give us a little bit of a report at the next meeting as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ma'am, please.
Good evening.
State your name and address for the record now, I'm sorry.
My name is Delia Halpin, and I live at 208 Prospect Avenue in Maywood. Okay. The administrator had been talking about grading. We have lived here for 20 years, and I had 1 drop of water in our yard. Now, the way these houses came up is okay. I'm not criticizing it or anything. But when they put in the drains for the water coming off the roof, it's supposed to catch everything and go through. No, it goes over those drains, every one of them. And we see this every time it rains. And that's contributing to part of that water problem. And another thing, just bear with me, I'm 75. As to the water that's going on our neighbor's property, we have been on that property a number of times. Yes, there was a small little part of it that was affected by the water before these houses were built. After these houses are built, those people got water going halfway back through their yard. That's not normal. That's not normal as for to happen. Now, a few years back, a letter was sent around to us in the neighborhood. There was a house going up at 222 Prospect Avenue. A letter was sent because they wanted to build further back on their property. And the EPA determined that they couldn't do it. So they had to build towards the front. Now these two houses are being built in the same part, in the back of where the stream is. Nothing's been said about it. I'd like to know why nothing was said about it this time when those people down the street were affected with building their house. They couldn't build it.
I don't know what you're asking, man. What do you mean nothing was said about it? Did you?
I'm sorry,
What, can you hear me?
Now I can,
Okay,
yes.
I'm sorry, I'll speak up, that's all right. When you got the letter, the green card, I imagine, did you go to the planning board and ask the questions when they were getting the permission to build?
No, I did not.
They didn't send that.
I'm sorry?
Nobody received that.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I think she was saying that there was
It's a different one.
There was a previous house, not the one,
Right.
not the subject property we're talking about.
Right, why it
The
wasn't built
previous
back
one was
there.
built, the EPA had denied them permission to build it.
I'm lost there.
They were going to build another house
I think
before.
that the confusion is that neither one of them went to the planning board. They probably just went to the building department.
Because they didn't need any variance.
That's why nobody,
Okay.
A letter may have gone around, but they
Okay.
weren't
I thought the
necessarily,
letter was from the-
they weren't notified
from the
because there was a
applicant.
hearing.
It's not for this present one, it's for 222.
Okay. So
Right.
none of these were built needing variances?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right.
All right. Another thing that I'd like to address and put on record,
Sure.
there is, in front of 210, there is a deep hole that's been there for months.
Where?
In front of 210, the new houses
The new one.
that are being built.
In the street?
Still there. Yes, it's
Okay.
between the street and their curb, because as I said, I've been
Okay.
there and we had to go around it.
Okay.
Now, this has been going on for months, and it fills up with water every time it rains. And we have been noticing on the street that the part that was, oh yeah, okay, sorry. The part that was,
Dug up?
yeah, dug up, thank you. The part that was dug up is going down. Now, I don't know, I can't say anything, but I think it would behoove the town to find out if there's any undermining of that street. Because if there is, and the street collapses, you're in deep, deep trouble, because the sewers are under there and everything else. And not only you will be in trouble, the people that live in this neighborhood will be in trouble. Because if we have no sewage, forget it.
Okay.
And if you, I'm just telling you, I just want it on record,
Okay.
okay?
Maybe, well,
And I-
here,
I just,
maybe go take a look at that, just to see if any of the integrity is being compromised.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear, sir.
I was speaking with, I'm sorry, ma'am, I just asked the engineer to go take a look,
Oh, okay,
based on your suggestion.
fair enough,
Okay, ma'am.
okay. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am.
The only thing is, and this is just my opinion, whoever buys those houses, they're in for trouble. My opinion.
Okay. Anyone else from the public wishing to be heard?
Hi, I'm his next door neighbor. I've been living there for 35 years.
State your name for the record, ma'am.
Lorraine Reardon.
Your address?
What?
Your address?
200 Prospect Avenue. Been living there for 35 years. And I started to see the water when they were building those homes.
Okay.
Mercedes told me, she used to talk to me. She said, did you look over there? She started to see water. When they started to build the homes, all the water started coming into her backyard. And
That's her neighbor.
that was Mercedes, yeah, the one that
moved.
the one that moved.
Okay.
And she started noticing, and then I said, it fills up so much, it's like an ice pond. That's...
Thank you.
So what are you gonna do about it?
Like I said, we're going to have...
So what are we gonna do about it? We wasted our evening here? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I know the way it works.
Yeah, I'm glad you know. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Something has to get done,
We'll
That's the bottom
Thank you very
line.
much. I really appreciate
and
it.
nothing ever gets done.
Thank you for letting us come in and speak to you today.
Absolutely.
And before, all we heard is nothing can be done, nothing can be done. No one ever said they would correct anything. And that's why we were all so very concerned.
Understood.
But we feel a lot better now after speaking to you. And thank you very much for the meeting that we had today.
Well, thank you, Doctor. We'll, sorry about the situation, and we'll see what can be done.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll have some kind of answer. I would invite you people to come back to the next meeting. We'll have some kind of report at that point, and the councilman, Mr. Bowles, will have gone there, so we'll have some kind of understanding.
The guy who's building those houses, he had to knock down the tree. The branches were falling on Mercedes' garage and on the fence. So we asked him to do something about the tree. He asked her to pay him $600 when the tree was in his property. So he said, you have to give me $600, okay? And Mercedes said, no, I'm going to move. Why should I give you $600? When they asked him to put a fence there because the guy, he took the porta potty, when the guys were going to the bathroom, we took them out. There's none there for almost a year now. And the guys are just going and doing their stuff in the back of the house. So they asked him to put a fence there.
Yeah, listen.
And they told them, he asked them to pay half of the fence.
Okay, listen, if you see somebody doing that, yeah, that's a police issue. Call the police right away. This can't happen. There's no porta potties there, and somebody's going to the bathroom. You gotta have. I mean, this sounds like, from the picture you're painting, this is a nightmare. Okay. I don't know that it's. I mean, I can't speak to that because I haven't been there.
If you go there now, there's a lot of people working there.
Yeah.
They don't have no bathroom to go to. I mean, they took all...
I thought nobody had been working there for a while.
No, they've been working there.
Oh, somebody
And
said
there's no
before that
bathrooms
nobody's
there.
been working.
There was no running water. I don't know if there's...
All right.
I don't know if now he has running water.
Let's go. First thing that we can do is we're going to have the inspector go there. He's going to meet there with the Councilman Bowen, and we'll take it from there. Okay?
Thank you.
In the meantime, we're going to we're going to get all your numbers, and we're going to contact the county, and you'll give permission for the county to come and spray.
Okay, thank you.
And please, if you see somebody public urinating or I don't want to talk about the other one. If you see somebody going to the bathroom, please call the police. Okay?
I don't know what they're going
This cannot be happening in people's backyards.
I know she saw him. I saw one of the guys, but we don't know what they're doing their truck.
Well, I mean, if you're telling me you imagine they're going to the bathroom there somewhere,
Well, no,
that's a different story. If you're seeing it, if you're seeing it happening, you have to call the
I don't know
cops.
what they're doing it now because they don't have anything.
All right, I understand what you're saying. Okay, man. All right, let's just not go. If you see something like that,
Okay.
All right. Anyone else from the public wishing to be heard? Seeing none, we'll close the meeting to the public, and let's continue with the agenda. Public hearing on pending ordinances.
Okay, ordinance 12-19, an ordinance amending Chapter 56-6 entitled Appointment and Promotion of Personnel of the Borough of Maywood Code in the Borough of Maywood, State of New Jersey. Ordinance 13-19, an ordinance to amend Chapter 184 governing flood damage prevention. Ordinance 14-19, an ordinance to amend Chapter 312, Subchapter 5 of the Borough of Maywood Code governing the parking of vehicles in the Borough of Maywood, State of New Jersey. Ordinance number 15-19, an ordinance amending the Borough of Maywood Municipal Code so as to revise Code Section 312-13.
All right, at this point, is there anyone from the public like to make any comments or have any questions relative to the foregoing ordinances? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adopt the ordinances.
I'm sorry, pardon me, Councilwoman, are we pulling?
That's not, it's later.
Oh, it's later, I'm sorry.
My apologies.
Oh, good catch, keep it on your mind. I'll ask for a motion for the adoption.
So made.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
On roll call, Bennett?
Yes.
Boland?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Motion carries. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood that ordinance 12-19, 13-19, 14-19, and 15-19 be and is hereby passed upon second and final reading, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law.
All right, we have the approval of minutes. Is there a motion for the approval of the June 25th, 2019 council meeting and closed session minutes?
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
On roll call, Bennett?
Yes.
Boland?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Abstain, I was not here.
Motion carries.
Okay. Presentation of bills and claims and request for public comment. The clerk has presented the bill resolution. Is there anyone from the public wishing to be heard with regard to the same? Seeing no one, I'll ask for approval. A motion for the approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
On roll call, Bennett?
Yes.
Boland?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I don't think there's anything separate pointing out to be in front of this one. Greg, if you want to leave, please, feel free. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Roberta, there's nothing else, right?
I'm sorry?
There's nothing else, right?
No.
Thanks, Camper.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. All right, correspondence and report of the Borough Clerk.
Okay, my report was going to be progress. I'm going to change that. Just to reiterate to the public that any member, any resident of Maywood can request a spraying for mosquitoes through mosquito control with Bergen County, free of charge. So outside of this that we're going to be working with you guys on, any time of the year, any resident can request a spraying of their yard. I don't have the phone number on me because I wasn't expecting to talk about this tonight, but if anybody wants that number for mosquito control, they can call our office, and we are at extension 201. Other than that, progress.
Thanks, Norm. Report of the Borough Administrator.
Mayor, it's a little bit late, but since we didn't have an early meeting, I'm going back to July 4th.
Yes.
We had thousands of people, according to the fire department and the auxiliary, came to help us. They reported there were people all over the streets, so...
Pull the mic a little closer.
Oh.
Okay. No, just pull the mic.
I know, but I made the mistake of trying to. My back didn't like it. So anyhow, July 4th, at least 3,000 people, maybe more. So once again, I know that we have signs out around town, but I don't think people appreciate the fireworks were sponsored by both HUMC Fitness and Wellness and also Hackensack Meridian Hospital. They're the major sponsors. And thanks to, since it was our 125th, we went a little extra this year, make it even more special, which everybody seemed to think it was. Other sponsors who made it possible for us to have 6 bands in our parade, starting with TD Bank, one of the major sponsors, also Bergen Town Center, and Essex Gardens, which is unusual, but very nice that Essex Gardens always helps us with things in town, Neglia Engineering, and SWS Realty, which is just another property owner in town. Most people wouldn't know him, it doesn't matter, but he's a large property owner and he's always been very eager to help, as well as the people who are the owners of the new Sears property can, well, not that they are the owner, they've always been the owner, but it was Sears. it's still kin property, and they've also started to help us support these things. So I just think it's important that people understand that, a lot of our local businesses get involved on a smaller scale, but it's very nice that we have large companies that contribute to keep this town doing all the special things that we do have. I did receive notice that our grant was approved for the charging station, so we're going to have to start thinking about that. Our thoughts were that we were going to probably put it in the parking lot behind Twin Door, Twin Door Tavern, and so we're going to have to work on that, clear up possibly some of the spots that people are paying for, and that's where we might install it, as opposed to losing a spot right on Pleasant Avenue. But that's to be decided. The point is that we received the letter that the grant was approved. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Roberta. Committee reports. Councilperson Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The easy is obviously the building season. Our zoning and building department is collecting a nice number of permits, which means Maywood is very, very busy.
And fines.
And fines, yes. And fines. Very, very busy. But I also wanted to talk today about the Trek program, which we started. There's a box downstairs next to the elevator on the first floor. And there's also one that was placed at the back entrance to the Maywood Public Library. You can go and remember collecting clean plastic bags, grocery bags, toilet bags, pantry bags. There's no wrapping that comes around your water bottles. Clean and out of there. Other than that, it's wonderful.
Thank you very much. Councilman Bowman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that this governing body is very concerned with pedestrian safety, and the police department is kind enough to provide me with some information about accidents for people either on bicycles or crossing the road. And we'll keep that on file for an appropriate time. But it does make interesting reading, and as we move forward, it will hopefully give us some guidance on what the areas we might want to look at. The police department last month received 301 911 calls and 500 requests requiring a police response. They conducted 280 vehicle stops, issued 130 moving violations, arrested 13 occupants of those motor vehicles for criminal charges, and arrested 4 drivers for DWI. And of those 4 DWI arrests, one of them was additionally charged with another crime. You can see in front of me what looks like a trash receptacle, but that's actually our time capsule. And so it's going to be, we're going to send out letters asking people if they're interested in providing something that we can include in it. They're more than welcome. Hopefully your town will take a picture of it and get that out. So we're really actively soliciting things that can go in it. We're not looking for things of great value. We're looking for things that represent who we are, what we are, how we live in 2019. So in 50 years, when somebody opens it, they can be awestruck by how little we paid for gas and for fast food and other things that kind of represent our lives. So if you have suggestions or know somebody that is interested in suggesting something to be included in it, we're more than happy to speak to them. I've also spoken to the superintendent of the school, Mr. Jordan, and he has graciously offered to allow us to place the items and seal it at a school assembly. Because those kids are going to be the ones that are going to be here in 50 years to open. I'll be in Florida, enjoying the sun. Mr. Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Giovino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Lindenau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The annual flu clinic is going to be on Wednesday, November 13th. Mark your calendars. 2 sessions, 3 p.m. to 4:45 and 6 p.m. to 7:45. It is a free flu shot for Maywood residents age 18 plus. At the Maywood Recreation Center, and sponsored by the Board of Health. If you want more information, reach out to Tara at the Borough. 201-845-2900, extension 211. And I just wanted to thank Roberta for her hard work on the 4th of July celebration, and to thank all the organizations, all our town organizations that really made it a great night. Being up here, you see how much behind-the-scenes work goes into pulling this off and making sure everybody's safe, and it was a fantastic night. So thank you to everybody involved. That's all I have.
Thanks, sir. Reiterate what Roberta said and what Tom said. The volunteers in this town that worked so hard to make sure that everybody was safe at the fireworks and the parade, but especially the fireworks. There was a lot behind the scenes. There's mutual aid towns that come and help us out, the hospital. So much goes into coordinating the fire inspector, fire prevention, just to make sure that everybody's safe. It's a great undertaking, and it was well worth it. That was one of the best, it was very short, but that was one of the best grand finales that I've seen here since I've been here. Sure. But,
Don't remind me, I'll get aggravated.
yeah, it just ended, but I said that has to be a grand finale, because I've never seen anything that great before. But it was a great fireworks nonetheless. And what made it special, it was a little interesting. I'm sure you guys that were there realized this. When there was no music, it was less. But then the minute the music hit, you're like, wow, it just seemed more grand. So it was almost good that for the first few minutes there was no music, because you actually saw how good it was with the music. So going forward, I would suggest that there's always the music there, and if the Jumping Dragons are the band that's here, hopefully they allow us to use their
They
equipment
did.
again. Yeah.
We paid for it, but they did.
Yeah, it was great. It's a wonderful time. The band was great. The vendors.
And then, of course, Councilman Lindenau and our mayor went up for one of the songs.
Yes.
I'm not sure how many people actually got to see that. I know that I caught part of it.
Yeah, well, it was always, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be in KISS, in the band KISS. And unfortunately, I never got to be in KISS, but we did get to sing KISS songs. It was great. It was a great experience, one that I will never forget. Just the vendors, the food, everything was it was a great night. It was a great night, and the girls out there selling their water. It's tradition. Made us go on for the next 100 years. It was just a great time. And then the parade, it was a wonderful time. The parade was a wonderful time as well. I would like to see more people on the streets at that point, and some of the issues, maybe next year we can coordinate with some of the organizations that have practices at that point during the parade. Yeah, there were some practices.
How dare they?
Yeah. So I think,
Our parade's always July 4th at 9 o'clock in the morning,
I think what Lisa, the rec director, needs to do is maybe speak to some of the town organizations and let them know that it's probably not a good idea to schedule a practice the morning of our parade. Because these are things that kids probably would want. They don't realize they're missing, but when they get older, they're going to remember being there as opposed to missing. So, that being said, Roberta, you did this was your best job yet. And I think in another life you were an enforcer for the mob, a collector. So the money that you collect for this, it's astounding that you're able to. It's astounding. Well, let it be known. It's astounding the work that you do here, and you do a great job, and it's shown. Every year, whether it's the parade, the fireworks, or Santa coming to town, you have everything. The fall festival, you have everything done to the nines. You do a great job here, Roberta, and it's been an honor being here with you all these years and watching you do it. You do it better every year, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, that's it. So we have now resignations, acceptance of the following. Number 1. Resignation of Lieutenant Timothy Moran, police officer for the Borough of Maywood, submitted a retirement letter of intent effective October 1st, 2019. Regrettably, is there a motion to accept the retirement letter of intent?
So made.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
On roll call, Bennett,
Yes.
Boland,
Yes.
Trevino,
Yes.
Lindenau.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Council, we have no appointments. Council approval of the following. The Maywood Fire Department submitted a request to attend the Saddlebrook Fire Department Engine 2 wet down on July 27, 2019 at 299 Market Street in Rochelle Park.
Should be set.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Thank you. So with amended to Saddlebrook. Number 2, the Maywood Memorial School submitted a request to have a street closing on West Fairmount Avenue for the following event. Trunk or Treat on October 25th, 2019, and the use of Memorial Park for the next year's field day on May 15th, 2020. Is there a motion for the approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
On roll call, Bennett,
Yes.
Boland,
Yes.
Trevino,
Yes.
Lindenau.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolutions by title.
Resolution 133-19, resolution to appoint pool/camp lifeguards employees. Resolution 134-19, final payment on the 2018 road program, Phase 2. Resolution 135-19, change order for the 2018 improvement project, Phase 2. Resolution 136-19, resolution to advertise for bids. Resolution 137-19, a resolution ratifying and confirming the managed services of the Police Department Radio Dispatch Desk to the Maywood Police Department with funds from the DEA account. Resolution 138-19, agreement with Bergen County flu vaccine 2019 to 2020. Resolution 139-19, capital budget amendments. Resolution 140-19, Municipal Alliance Grant Acceptance. Resolution 141-19, a resolution of the Borough of Maywood approving a 2% salary increase for all employees not governed by a collective bargaining agreement. Resolution 142-19, resolution appointing Robert Haljaj as a non-contract per diem police dispatcher in the Borough of Maywood. Resolution 143-19, resolution appointing Alexis Boras as a part-time employee with the Finance Department in the Borough of Maywood. Resolution 144-19, a resolution authorizing the purchase of various equipment needed by the Borough of Maywood Department of Public Works. Resolution 145-19, resolution authorizing an interlocal agreement between the County of Bergen and the Borough of Maywood for the co-location of municipal law enforcement computer servers for off-site disaster recovery. Resolution 146-19, a resolution ratifying and confirming the purchase of a shed with installation for the Maywood Police Department with funds from the DEA account. Resolution 147-19, resolution ratifying and confirming the purchase of a 12-month subscription to the Rogers Group for online in-service training to the Maywood Police Department with funds from the DEA account. Resolution 148-19, resolution appointing Zachary Stelter for DPW seasonal help in the Borough of Maywood. Resolution 149-19, resolution appointing Matthew Dellavella, Christopher Melber, and Michael McMahon as full police officers in the Borough of Maywood. And finally, Resolution 150-19, resolution appointing Jason Reiner as a junior firefighter in the Borough of Maywood.
Is there a motion for the adoption of the resolutions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
On roll call, Bennett,
Yes.
Boland,
Yes.
Trevino,
Abstain from resolution 133-19, and yes to the rest.
Lindenau.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, introduction of ordinances.
Okay, we have ordinance 16-19, bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of new information technology equipment in, by, and for the Borough of Maywood in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $75,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, and to authorize the issuance of fund anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. And ordinance 17-19, an ordinance to amend Chapter 201 of the Maywood Code entitled, which governs the special improvement district of the borough as so to provide for regulations for empty storefronts.
All right, so we'll be pulling that ordinance 17-19 for tonight.
Yes.
So we're just going to have 16-19. So with that, is there a motion for the introduction of ordinance 16-19?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
On roll call, Bennett,
Yes.
Bowling,
Yes.
Trevino,
Yes.
Lindenau.
Yes.
Motion carries. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood that ordinance 16-19 pass on first reading, and that said ordinance will be further considered for final passage at a meeting of the Mayor and Council to be held on August 13, 2019, at 7:30 p.m. at Borough Hall, 15 Park Avenue, Maywood, New Jersey, at which time and place all persons interested therein will be given the opportunity to be heard concerning same, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law.
Okay, under new business, I just have one thing. The council, it's been the council's practice since I've been here that we usually take 2 meetings off for the summer. We try to stretch it out into different months so we're not missing a whole month. Does anyone have any issues with canceling the second meeting of August?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. All right, so, because I know we have to, we need the first meeting for the adoption, correct?
Yes, we need the first meeting to adopt the bond ordinance.
Okay.
And I think
also we'll have-
we did know that we have a quorum for that meeting, so,
Good.
and not for the second.
Okay, and also, obviously, we're going to have the construction official, building official be here anyway, so we want to be at the first meeting as opposed to the second.
So the 27th is the only meeting.
The 27th, yeah, so we'll notice that meeting will be canceled. Is there any other new business? Okay. How about old business? Any old business? Okay. Do we have a closed session tonight?
No. What, you have closed session?
I have one very little thing about it.
Okay.
So whereas the Open Public Meeting Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, for emergency exclusion of the public from the meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss potential litigation, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. To be further resolved, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood do not envision that they will return to open session after the closed session, but certainly reserve the right to do so.
Thank everyone for coming tonight. We'll see you after next week. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a motion to go to close? Motion to go to close. Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
My thing is, when we sign up, that's something.
Yes.
Okay.